Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Invoking the blessings of the Almighty, and I pray for everyone's safety. My name is Suvarna. I am your moderator for today, and I'm very excited to be hosting this session for the day. Mother Teresa once said, I only feel angry when I see waste, when I see people throwing away things we could use. Is very apt for our today's discussion by our speaker, Madam Nalini Shekar. May I now request Dr. Ratna H., the President of Alumni Association, to deliver the formal welcome address. Welcome, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you, Suvarna. Good evening and a very warm welcome to you all for the webinar on citizens' responsibility for sustainable waste management. I start my welcome address by paying our gratitude and allegiance to our donor, Srimati Vishan Devi Harbhagwandas Ganumal, for magnanimously contributing a sum of rupees 1 lakh to start a college for young women to become efficient homemakers. We are equally grateful to our founder, Dr. Sushila Lingaya, who envisaged home science education for holistic development of students. The college will be stepping into the Diamond Jubilee year on 23rd November 2020. Over the past decades, the alumni have made their alma mater proud by diversifying and extending their home science education into every aspect of community living and development. One such alumni is Mrs. Nalini Shekar, founder Hasiru Dala, an organization working for the cause of environmental maintenance. During the recent lockdown, when hectic lifestyle came to a standstill, Hasiradala team worked around the clock segregating the solid waste generated due to spring cleaning. Mrs. Nalini Shekhar is striving to bring this unorganized sector under environmental and recycling audit. The office bearers of the Alumni Association of Srimati VHD Central Institute of Home Science join me in congratulating Mrs. Shekhar for her tireless efforts, and we are happy to have her with us today. On behalf of the Alumni Association, I extend a very warm welcome to K.S. Fupa, Principal and Chief Patron of our association. Our speaker, Mrs. Nalini Shekhar, has been extremely accommodative. I extend a very warm welcome to her and a special welcome to her husband, Mr. Shekhar, who studied in our Makkala Mandira Nursery School. I also welcome our senior alumni members, my teachers, staff members, students, and invitees for this webinar. Once again, a hearty welcome to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. May I now request Dr. Sri Lakshmi, ma'am, to introduce our speaker for the day?
Thank you,
Over to
Suvarna.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, Suvarna. Good evening, everyone. And it is my pleasure to introduce today's chief guest, Mrs. Nalini Shekar, co-founder of Hasarudala, an organization of pickers in Bangalore, India. Her passion is to restore the dignity of workers in the unorganized waste sector and improve their access to predictable livelihoods and social security of their families. Mrs. Nalini has trained several hundred waste pickers about new way of solid waste management and profoundly worked with them, with the state officials, students, citizens on the need of sustainable waste, management of sustainable waste practices and integration of waste pickers. And her passion is to restore the dignity of workers in the unorganized waste sector to improve their access to livelihoods and social security of their families. Before initiating her work in Bangalore, Madam has advocated the need for of survivors of violence for a decade in the USA, where she was honored with the Santa Clara County Humanitarian Commission, San Jose City government, and presented with a certificate of honor from then Governor of California, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger Mrs. Nalini has won many accolades, including the Kempegowda Award in 2015 from the city of Bangalore. She was chosen as one of the best women out of 100 in India who make a difference in the society by BBC channel. She is also been featured in Coffee uh, Coffee does, and also Kirlas has honored Madam with Vasundhara Award. Madam, we would love to hear from you from your vast experience because today's citizens' responsibility of waste management is a core issue, the sustainable waste management problem, both low at the local level and in the government level. Now, I welcome you, Madam, and I welcome you, everyone to the webinar. Over to Nalini, Madam. Thank you.
Thank you. It's really, I'm quite emotional to speak today because many old friends and people I've seen, I've learned from and learned with are all here today. I'm very happy to be here, and many things I've learned in my course of studying in the college. And one of the biggest thing that I did was a huge campaign for my presidential election in this college, and which we won. And it was like, that is the time I said, okay, I have a leadership quality, I need to do something for the society. So I kept looking for it, and I had an opportunity. And of course, I taught in Nirmala Niketan in Mumbai for some time. And after that, I moved into completely a different sector, and not much theory and background in social work or development work, but finally I ended up here, and I'm happy the route I've chosen. So what I would do also is to just kind of, I'm using some slides, but it's not like a slideshow thing. But I felt that you need to know where I work and what I work with and who I work with. So I thought some visual will let you. These are waste pickers. They are my friends and family now, with whom I work. I want to start with a video of a film that is made by a waste picker herself, and she promoted this. I mean, she sent it to some of the citizens she knew, and little did she know. Now this video went viral, and a lot of ministers have retweeted. DBMP has made a film about this whole thing. So I just want to start with that. So this is how they are today, because now she is able to tell people how you are supposed to change your attitude and your behavior, just not throwing just like that. And this was not true 10 years ago. And in 2010, we started organizing waste pickers in the city. Then we estimated about 35,000 people engaged in it. Today, we work with about 12,000 families and in about 7 cities, 5 of them in Karnataka. So they were not considered anybody in the city, but we showed with this research that they're saving about 84 crores for the city government in their collection of waste. It is just, we calculated the collection and transportation cost. So they were given the identity card. This is an identity card that is identical to that of a mayor in the city. It has a logo of the city and signature of the commissioner. And 2011 we did. After that, nationally we fought, and then it is now a law. In 2016 it became a law. So every city has to give their waste because they're really keeping our cities well. I mean, cities don't perform the way they should in terms of providing services. They come to our rescue. So we also did something called dry waste collection center in the city, and you might have in your ward, you might have seen it, or you might have wondering what is this, so many people are there, so much waste is there. And this is a place that we have pushed the government to put it in each of our wards, so that it should not go to Mandur and Mavalipura. When you go to Mavalipura and Mandur, you can see children eating dinner inside a mosquito net, because we in Bangalore, we create waste, we throw, and it goes to Mavalipura. They are villagers, they don't create that kind of waste, but because they are neighbors to us, we throw all our waste there, and which is not fair. So, so we demonstrated that, and now recently, 4th of July, and now, of course, last week they decided that every dry waste from each house of Bangalore will be collected by waste pickers. This will be a humongous success if we make it work for us. And this is the first time in India, in such a mega city, waste pickers are integrated into waste management system. So these are the people that I really work with, and I wanted you to know who I work with, and as citizens, how we can make it happen. So there are a lot of women who have become now entrepreneurs. They really speak well. They go to UN, meetings to talk about climate change. They talk about their role in helping the society to do what they do. So their carbon footprint now is proved by the study that it's a negative carbon footprint they leave. So very few jobs in the world has negative carbon footprints, and so they are. So they are our environmentalists, and I would like all of you, next time when you see a waste picker, look at them more like not a poor person, dirty person, but a person who is a robust entrepreneur and a silent environmentalist. With that, I would really want to come to what I wanted to speak today, how do we reduce the waste and live a sustainable lifestyle? And this is the waste you see in most of the houses. Now it is little better in Bangalore, but still you get a lot of waste, everything together. And a paper, when you recycle 1 ton of paper, you can actually save 17 grown trees. But when you put it with wet waste, nothing happens. It just goes to waste. So if you recover this, it's a great resource for us. And you have seen this is during Mavalipura had closed down, and this is how we all walk. But our people work. So we really don't know what happens to waste. We just throw the waste and it goes away from our houses, from out of our sight, and we forget about it. And what I request is, don't forget. Let us look at it. This is how it goes to landfill. It used to. What the best thing that we can do is segregate. Segregation of the waste is something that we started in a very huge way in Bangalore. Many people followed it, but somehow in Bangalore we have not made it to the a movement that goes to 198 wards. But some of the wards are really doing well, and nobody wants a dry waste collection center next to their home. But what I can say is, dry waste collection center is not unclean. If you segregate waste at source, it at home, you keep it clean. It comes to the center clean. Your neighborhood center can also look good and feel good. Doesn't have to look like very dirty place. And one of the things that we have contributed is looking at dry waste collection, wet waste collection in 2 bin 1 bag. This is a method we started in Bangalore, and in 1,000 households, we really worked hard to show that because most of the people who pick up waste are uneducated, we said, let's come up with very simple solution, and we came up with 2 bin 1 bag, and we did it in 1,000 household, and today it is a law. So whatever we have practiced, we have made sure it is institutionalized. It should live beyond me, it should live beyond Hasirudala, it should go to the next generation, this whole practice. So that is how we bring in the law, so that we can continue to do it. So home composting is another thing that you can very easily do. And so it is extremely easy because it is only like in the beginning. I mean, when I was a home science student, I didn't know how to cook. I only did some cooking in the lab just to make sure the nutrition is taken care of and my marks have been got. Otherwise, I didn't know cooking. So first time when I cooked, my idlis came watery. Till now I have not, understood how it became so watery. It's been like 32 years. It's just like that. Home composting is nothing but practicing. Today, my home composter, I can keep it under my kitchen sink, so it's very very easy. I don't know if you can go to a quiz here. Can we go to a quiz?
Yes, ma'am. I'll just right away hosting it.
Yeah. I would like all of you to participate in this quiz and see how much we know about our own waste.
Yeah, it's on.
If you can all vote and submit. Is most of us done?
I think we can give a couple of minutes more, ma'am.
Sure.
We've got around 7-8 responses, a few more pending.
Should we move on?
I think we are waiting for a couple of more answers.
Yeah, okay. Let me know when you're ready.
Sure. Okay, I think we can close the poll.
Okay.
I'll just right away share the results. So all of you all can see the results of the poll. Yes.
Okay. So interesting. 50% of you think it is only two ways. That is a major confusion in the city. The city actually at home you segregate into three. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan talks about, so probably many people have got it from. And actually speaking, at home, you can, BBMP will expect you to do 5 times moving forward. Wet, dry, and reject is 3. Then electronic waste and your construction debris. Whenever you have a construction, how to dispose, that will come. But every day, it is a 3-way segregation. You have wet waste, dry waste, and reject waste. And I talk about 2 bin 1 bag very quickly because I wanted to check if I gave a hint, but people didn't get it. So it is actually 3 ways. And Can you recycle hair? Yes, most of you know about it. Can we go down a little bit, please?
Yes. Are you able to see?
No, not yet.
The dust that you get while sweeping is wet waste is answered by 21%, dry waste is answered by 79%.
So when you actually do it, is usually dust. Dust, I mean, if it is dust can be recycled with wet waste. It is not dry waste. It cannot be recycled at all. It is more an inert, like your construction debris, or if it is a little bit of dust, you can also put it in your wet waste. Okay, next one. We have
How do
four
you
questions.
yes, how do you categorize dry leaves? Dry waste or wet waste? So for 64% answered as dry waste, 36% as wet waste.
36% is right. It is wet waste. Anything that you can compose that can go to earth is called wet waste. So wet waste is nothing but organic waste, and dry leaves are fantastic medium to help bring down the waste smell and compost very well with the wet waste. So it's an amazing medium to do it. So dry waste, when people burn dry waste, I really feel very sad. When I see good dry waste, I said, can I take it home? Can I take it home? Because you can really do very good composting. So it goes to wet waste and not dry. So the one that I showed here is actually home composting. You can do a phenomenal home composting. You can go to swachagraha.in where a lot of volunteers have posted their stories about volunteering. You can look at Vani Murthy, her YouTube. She's called Composting Queen Bangalore. She has tirelessly trained thousands and thousands of citizens to compost at home and also other cities. These are the large composting that happens in Bangalore and in different ways. Then the thing is, you have to really know when I just throw a bottle in a drain, what happens. And some plastic can never disintegrate. It will be there for thousands of years. And if you look at cigarette butts, it can be 10 years, it can lie. And nowadays you can see a lot of animals, especially fish, confuses bits of plastic to food, and it eats the food. And finally, where does it go? Whoever eats fish, their stomach is filled with plastic. They say about 5 grams of plastic is in all our bodies now because of the misuse of the plastic that we have. And then we have to make sure none of our waste get into water bodies. It is our responsibility. It's a responsibility. We should be we have to stop doing it to be very selfish, because our next generation need to have a good world. If your grandchildren, you want to leave a nice world for them, it's our turn to keep it safe. And of course, many of us know this. In Bangalore, went really big on plastic ban. Everybody said, "Oh, nothing happens. I see on the street." But I can tell you, in our drivers collection center, we used to get 1,500 to 1,600 kilos of it per month. These weigh like 15 grams and 20 grams. Now it has come to 40 kilos and 45 kilos, which means we have really done away with carry bags. And I would like to promote more and more of us. Let us not use plastic cutleries which is not needed, and we can do steel is a very good options that we have and we have always had. And the best thing is to eat in your bare hands, which is the best. Reducing and getting, I think when we were growing up, we used to use a lot of cotton material to use. Even I remember my mom used to use the pants that my dad never used anymore, or those days bell bottom was very big in when we were growing up. And when it went off the fashion, my mom used to cut those bell bottoms and make big bags. So these are the things we have always done, and some things we have to go back. One of the things I really, hopefully, the group will one day call Dr. Meenakshi, who can talk about what is a sustainable solution for our the sanitary napkins that we use. And it is really not good for the health because it has a lot of plastic very close to our very sensitive body. And there are different ways one can look at menstrual cups and sustainable pads that we can look at. Now we are on a mission to convert 100 women every week to use a sustainable solution. So every Sunday we have a webinar where 100 to 100, our target is to reach out to 100 women. We are this is the 4th week, I think 150 has been the average. So more and more people get into this, the less and less waste we create. These are some of the easiest, simple things that you and me can do at home. And of course, diapers. Diapers, a lot of us, didn't use as children. We were not used the present diapers you have, cloth we use. But nowadays, very good cloth, very convenient way of diapers have been introduced. Amazing entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs have come up with very stylish diapers. You should really check out and see if you can move. See, Nai, but actually I would like you to move away from plastic diapers to cloth diapers. And then, of course, I don't know how many people know about this particular, movement. It's called Bring Your Own Cup. So when you go out for your coffee, you can bring your own cup. I think the chai, the one of the tea, chains had put out a board which says they would reduce the amount of money they charge you if you brought your own cup. So when the Bring Your Own Cup started and plastic straws were banned, lot of people who came from Delhi and other places to Bangalore, they were like, we are amazed McDonald's here doesn't give a straw. So that is a movement we started in Bangalore. Somehow it has gone back and we should bring it back. So bringing your own cup, and it's very easy. Keep one cup and one small, plate and a spoon and some of the things in your car or your bag. It is very, very convenient. And many things are very easily designed nowadays. You can get really, really good stuff to even, and it makes your a statement of sustainable living. So if somebody sees you and they ask, why have you brought this? You can tell them the story. So you can convert more and more people towards sustainability. This is another thing we see. A lot of flower is bouquets are with plastic covering, and we can definitely do away with it. Cut flowers are also not the best thing. It is not a sustainable agriculture, floriculture, and so if you can do away with it and give plants, much better. For example, I think in Bangalore, we are the first one who started the trend of giving ministers and everybody medicinal plants as gifts. And many ministers, when we go to talk nowadays, also they remember, see, I've kept your medical plant. See, we have mud pots where the women have painted, waste speakers have painted and given. So it's very important to do. And also, we don't light diyas in our programs. We always water the plant and put compost to it. So that was also a trend we started. Today, BBMP has completely taken what we have been doing. So wrapping, everybody loves to break open the wrapper, and especially youngsters, and I know many people of my age who love to open this wrappers. Can we make it wrappers much more friendly to the earth? Definitely we can make it also very stylish. It doesn't have to be. I love the newspaper wrapping. What I do is on the newspaper I take any stamp of animals if it is for children, or Madhubani or the block print block, and I just put those on the newspaper. It looks extremely pretty, especially if you use any other color. So there are many ways that one can do, and there is so much of entrepreneurship that is possible with this, and many of us can get into this also. Nowadays I have a lot of women 50, 55 and from 45 to 55 who I joined our movement and become entrepreneurs. So sustainable living is something that you have to do. And there are many places we have started, steel banks, and Siddipet and other city nearby in Andhra Pradesh. One of my friend went there and she has converted the whole city into a plate bank. Everybody talks about plate bank. Every ward has a plate bank. We have an annual event. We have been doing it for 13 years, where 1,200 waste picker come for the event. Around 200 citizens come. We have never used disposable. Everybody gets steel spoon and not spoon, steel bartans and water for the steel. And we have done weddings with Ramling Reddy's daughter's wedding. There was 15,000 guests. And another temple we helped inaugurate, 35,000 people came. We did not use anything that is not organic or disposable. So it's possible to do it. And we all did it before, and we have to get back. And water bottle, carrying your own water bottle is another thing that one can do. Most of us do it, but many of us just pick up the plastic bottle which is already used once, and we use it again. See if we can move to another metal container. There are a lot of decorative stuff, and children have taken a huge this year. A lot of people have been pushing children to design decoratives with paper, used material, and they have been extremely successful, and very, very pretty stuff they have done. And even with cloth, you can do the buntings and cloth bags and cloth bells hanging. I've seen amazing stuff that people have done with this. And carry your own bag, and absolutely nothing to do. If you are able to change at least 10% of what you are doing today, it's worth for all of us to be together. Thank you. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions, and I hope this was useful.
I'll just ask a question, Suvarna.
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you, Mrs. Nalini. Really so happy to know the amount of work, the quantum of work that's gone into this. And
I hope you remember me.
Yeah, I'm kind of recollecting. I don't know. Do you remember me?
I remember.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for that. And I'm really, really proud of you, I should say, because composting is very close to my heart also. Only during the lockdown period, I got to try it out. And it's really been very successful. I mean, I was quite successful, and got a little garden also now. So I'm really proud of that. But what I've just noticed, Nalini, that even if when we segregate the waste at source, at home, many times the rag pickers actually mix it up while collecting also. So I don't know if all of them have been educated about segregation, or where's the, I don't know, the lack, you know?
See, there are two things. The people who collect from you is sanitary workers, not the rag pickers. Rag pickers are people who walk on the street with a bag, picking up things. So what happens is Paurakarmikas, we call them, the sanitary workers. What happened? All of them are trained. I myself had trained like at least about 6,000 Paurakarmikas myself. So all of them are trained, but if you don't have a system to support it, it fails. That is where we have been unsuccessful. Anywhere where the segregation is happening, system is in place, I tell you, Paurakarmikas are very happy. It's much easier for them to do it. So, but because they are mixing, don't stop segregating. That I would say. Let's do our duty, and there will be eventually somewhere, someday, they will also come back. And the thing is also that segregation now, June 4th, a bylaw has come out, and we are all working hard, and everything is there now. It is to implement. We have to really work hard to do. That's why we are reaching out to citizens in different wards to help us implement it. And moving forward, you'll only see the positive, not so much negative.
Hello, Nalini. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. See, I just started recently this composting about the kitchen waste,
Yes,
which comes under wet waste.
correct.
But I find it is lot of these flies and all those mosquitoes. How do you control them?
So there are two portion to your composting. You need the wet waste, of course, you have, and the second thing is called browns. These browns can be your leaves. You can have cocoa peat, any other medium, and then little bit of microbes. Nowadays, you get a cocoa peat with microbes, so you can really use it. So what is the problem is when the smell and all comes is only when you have not have the good proportion of browns and wet waste. So you have to really increase the quantum of browns that you use. For example, if you have one small layer, really half an inch layer of your wet waste, 1 inch layer of browns you should have, so that it absorbs the water from the composting. And second thing is when you have to be little choosy about how you and how much you put wet waste. And in that wet waste, if you have sambar, you can't dump the sambar. You have to remove the liquid portion of it, the dal and the vegetable portion of it. You can put it. It is only a question of trial and error. Just before Madhu Madam was saying that she's been successful. It is like learning to cook. It is just like that. If you have a good proportion, you learn the good proportion of browns and wet, all your problems is gone. And if you get little bit maggots, don't worry, that's a natural process, and they won't harm you. They live a very very short time, and once they die in your compost, they're phenomenal fertilizer to your plants. So you should start loving the small creatures, then they will disappear.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah, not a question. Nalini, Shekar, a very nice presentation. Actually, I'm practicing home composting. I help my wife to segregate the waste and convert it into manure. I'm just showing you how I segregate and make compost. Hope you can see.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. And then, as you said, I am also using microbes, then cocoa peat, and these are my plants which I have grown in my terrace. They are very healthy, and
We
they
should
they
have the
look so
next
green.
meeting there.
Please come. You are most welcome. And this is the mint I have grown, and one greens I have grown, and any number of anthuria in my terrace. And first of all, I segregate waste at source, as you have said. It is for all the participants. It's very easy. Only thing is you have to spend 5 to 10 minutes in a day to segregate the waste. It is not waste. I consider it as a great resource. Every 3 months to 6 months, I sell paper, I sell plastic. Each and every milk sachet is sold at 8 rupees per kg. And I hardly use water bottles. I always I always make it a point to carry a metal bottle or a reusable plastic thing. And the beauty in waste management is paper. I don't use paper only once. I use both sides. If it is going to be a waste, I will not just throw it. I'll keep it aside. And only when it is not required, I will give it to the vendor. So the vendor comes to my doorstep and picks up paper, plastic, and glass. And e-waste is kept separate. I give it to the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board kiosk, which is located very nearer to my house. And all the hazardous waste is put in one bag. So it is the citizens' responsibility, basically. It is not the BBMP. Now, if all citizens mind, we can reduce the waste to the barest minimum, maybe 10% of what we are producing now. It is the citizens who have to take it forward. Don't blame your corporator, don't blame your MLA, don't blame any bureaucrat or a minister. But what is your responsibility? Nobody is understanding this. So as an avid environmentalist, I have been doing it for the last 2 decades, but I am getting very good results. And whatever manure I produce, I use in the terrace garden, or else I'll give it to a farmer who will use it in his farm. So this is how we need to develop a habit of segregating the waste. Recently, I sold all the paper and plastic at 424 rupees during the Corona period. So supposing we start doing charity begins from home. Let us do it. Thank you for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you, sir, for sharing. It's a live.
Yeah, you can see the plants, how nicely they are grown.
Yes, beautiful. So I was quarantined for 14 days the last week, and the waste that came out of my house, everything I composted, the dry waste was less than 2 kilos for 15 days. So if you make up your mind, you can do it.
You can see the rose flowers that have come up
Yes.
by using my own compost.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a very interactive session. And we have appreciation for your work on the YouTube channel as well, as we are going live on the YouTube channel. Anyone would like to ask any other questions? I think there are no more questions. So progress is impossible without change. And those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything, as very well told by George Bernard Shaw. So we must start making or bringing in change from our own residences and from our own selves, so that it spreads across the society and work towards the sustainable waste management and contribute largely to our own responsibilities as citizens. With this, I would like to call upon Mrs. Chaitra Gowda, Madam, to deliver vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
We did it very well in terms of time, huh? 45 minutes.
Yes.
Good evening. Thank you, Swarna. Good evening, everyone. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for today's webinar on citizens' responsibility for sustainable waste management. On behalf of Alumni Association of Srimati VHT Central Institute of Home Science, I take this opportunity to express my heartfelt thanks to our eminent resource person, Mrs. Nalini Shekar, for sharing her insight and enlightening all of us on citizens' responsibility on sustainable waste management. Thank you, Madam, for sparing your valuable time and presence. We are inspired by your great words. I thank Dr. Rupa, Principal of Srimati VHT Central Institute of Home Science, for her cooperation. My special thanks to Dr.
Thank each one of you, and I thank Mrs. Nalini Shekar, I thank Mr. Amar Narayan, and a whole lot of our teachers, friends who have been with us today to this enlightened program. Thank you, Mrs. Nalini. Thank you.
Thank you.